Emma, thank you so much for joining me on Director's Notes to talk about your film Spotless.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you open up and tell me, I mean, it's a fabulous topic, of course. It spoke to
Mm-hmm.
me on so many levels. And I've read that you do a lot of films that have sort of these societal and polemic issues. Why did menstruation? Why did you choose this?
When I was younger, when I was on high school, there was this very big taboo on your periods. So there's also a short scene in the film where they ask for a tampon, and they do it like they give the tampon like it's drugs, or it's something that's really bad. So I think that was the start for me and my writer, because we wanted to make a film about the taboo on your periods, because I think what I saw in films was that blood is blue or with glitters, or it's pink, or and I was like, no, that's not how my blood looks like. But still, I had this very big taboo of talking about it. And after my graduation film about girl venom, I was like, this is a new topic for me to discuss. And then because what I do a lot of research when I start making a film. And then I bumped into an article about period poverty. Now you see a lot about it in the news, but we created the film 2.5 years ago, and the articles were very less. And then I was like, wow, this is something that I really can't imagine. So I started my research. So
what kind of research do you go into when you're starting a new project?
So first I'm watching every film that exists about it. So I do, and I just go to newspaper sites and I just fill in the subject, and then I see what pops up. And also documentaries or like reality shows or that kind of things. I think that's also very good for my research.
Yeah.
And I think after you see one thing, you bump into another thing, and then it's like this chain reaction of getting so much information. I also listen to podcasts, and it's
a lot, all different.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
So you wrote this film with, and sorry if I mispronounced this, Milou?
Milou, yes.
Milou. So how did you two come together in the writing?
We were together at school.
Okay.
The University of Art in Utrecht. And actually, we didn't work together at all at school, because I think we're very different. I'm very direct, and she's a bit more quiet. And at school, I was just screaming, oh, and she was very focused on her own thing. So we didn't really met back then. But then at our graduation show, we found out that we were really interested in the same topics. Also about females and things about society, and topics that are not about the female body, that are not spoken about of a lot. So then we were like, okay, maybe this is a good way to start together, to work together.
Yeah. And how was the process writing with someone else?
I love writing with somebody else.
Okay.
Because for me, how I work is that I come up with the ideas. So I get interested in a topic, and then I start researching. But for me, it's so important to share my thoughts and also to talk about the topic, because then it's going to live in my head. And otherwise I'm just because I try to write, but it's not good. No, it's not so good, because I don't know. I think it's so important that you talk about it, and then you create this story, and you create these characters in your head together, and then I think then it comes alive. Yeah. I actually saw a master class of Ken Loach, and he also said like a lot of directors also write, but it's a really different job, and it's. I don't know because I always had a bit of trouble. Like, I'm not a director who also is a very good writer. But then I saw his masterclass, and then I was like, okay, I'm relieved. I don't have to do it both. Yeah.
Yeah. If someone like that, says that kind of thing, then that's okay.
I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah. So, but no, the process was very nice together with Milou, and we created this very small character and we wanted to stay very close to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is your first film out of school, is that correct?
Yeah.
It's so finessed and, you know, just fabulous. I mean, I'm just so impressed. How were you able to launch into such a brilliant project so soon after school?
Thank you. Yeah, it was sometimes I still have to pinch myself that it's going so well, but I think because I made my graduation film, it was about Girlfriend'em and it got selected at the Berlinale as well, so we had a pretty amazing festival run with that film.
Yeah.
And I think when I was at school, I was thinking like nobody is caring about my subject because they're so small and they're about females and they are about young girls and blah, blah. And I saw all the big movies about big themes with big actors. And I always like to work with social actors or non-actors. And yeah, I didn't thought there was a lot of space for me back then. But then when my graduation film was picked up like that, I was like, okay, maybe I can stick to my own thoughts and I just create the things that I like. And then we did Spotless and it worked out pretty well. And yeah, I think now I also trust a bit more myself, like the things that and the stories I like and I want to tell. So yeah, it's but I also had an amazing team around me with very good people. But yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Were a lot of those people from your school who you ended up working with?
Actually, no. I work with the amazing DOP, Meerte Mosterman, because the thing was for me, I want to surround myself with people that are better than me, so I could, climb up a little bit more. That was very nice for me to work with people that had more experience because it was my first film after school, and we had to shoot it in 3 days. And wow. I think my graduation movie was like 9 days or something, and that was like 20 minutes, and we have to shoot it in 3 days. So for me it was important to work with people that had a bit more experience, so I could focus on the acting and I could focus on the story, and not because I'm not a very technical director, I have to say.
So when you say you're not very technical, how does that work in your actual shoot? So
I give a free pass to the DOP. So we talk about it in the beginning and we share films. Also with my new film, I made just a new short film about a mother and a daughter. I say to the DOP, this is what I like. This is the feeling I want to have from this scene. And I just put some bullet points, and then I focus on the acting. And I'm a total acting director, like just so on the set, the actors are the most important part for me, and I want to give them the space to feel good and that they can express themselves well on the set, and that they feel comfy. And then I hope the DOP will just get the shots and just get the feeling. And we did a lot of, because with my new film we did a lot of things on a deep like how do you say, like a deep loader, like the when you put the car on a truck. It's horrible because it's so super technical.
You need all the rigs and everything.
Oh, yeah, and you have to, because what I love is to make shots that I can tell the whole scene in, so I don't need to cut, because I hate cutting, because then I have the feeling that you watch to a scene, because when you cut you make a choice, and then and I just don't like cutting. But when you shoot on a low loader, then you have to really you have to really think of your shots. So you have this close up from this side, you have this from the other side, and I just get nuts because I just don't get it. I just hate it. So that was a really big that was a really big thing for me during this new film.
Yeah.
But so I try to
experience now.
It's exactly. But I try to keep the technical things far away as possible for me. Yeah. But of course I have to learn it also, because I want to make a feature maybe one day. So
you're going to need to have that.
I need to get used to it. But yeah.
So in terms of your actors, you mentioned that you like to work with non-professional actors.
Yeah.
Why is that your preferred, path?
So it's actually maybe more of a longer story than just, I don't know. Yeah, we have some time, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So when I was young, I was acting also.
Okay.
And I did like some child series, and I did a lot of auditions. And always when I was in an audition, they choose for a girl that was more famous or that had more experience on television. And I always get so frustrated about it, because the girls that they didn't pick, they were mostly better than the famous faces. And for me, it was a very big frustration. And what I also think is, in a lot of Dutch movies, because we're such a small country, you see the same faces everywhere. So then I just don't believe the characters anymore, because I saw them in 5 other films this year. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you the
Credible.
The credible? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I thought, when I'm gonna make films, I'm gonna make a change to that, because I want to make films that I really believe, and that I really think this girl is telling me the story. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that a lot of girls who go to acting school, or they act, they know exactly what they're doing. So then I miss this pure spark, and just like, then I don't see a human being anymore. And I think for my films, it's really important that they can be very close to themselves, or they maybe play themselves, but then in a different kind of area.
Yeah.
And I think but maybe that's not for every director like that, but for me, that's very important.
I mean, it comes through. Your main actress, I felt like I just wanted to reach through the screen and like just give her a hug. And I think what I loved as well in the film is you've just got this unique female perspective, and you can feel that throughout, which is just incredible. Was that something that you found you had to work on specifically, or did that just come naturally?
I think that just come up naturally. Like, I didn't think about it at all, I have to say. No.
And then everything you've got as well, it's all very natural. There's not a lot of coloring, there's not a lot of grading. Why did you make that specific choice?
For me, it's just a feeling. So when I'm in the grading or with my DOP, we just talk about the feeling. We just talk about, I wanted to create this feeling. I wanted to create like this soberness, and I want to create this, that she's stuck in her own world and she don't know where to go. Like, there's no brightness somewhere. So I think for me, the talking, it's a very big point. And then I think all the choices are made because of the talks, and made because of, we all know that we want to tell this story. And I think also on set, we talked a lot about our periods, like also about how to bring in a tampon, because you have this scene on the toilet. And I remember that we were on set, and then Alicia was talking to me like, can we maybe rehearse it? And then we were with our DOP and with the actor, and we sit together all in the bathroom, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna put our tampon in, and we're just gonna show each other how we do it. Of course, we had our pants on, but it's just talking about, and I think that's creating all the other choices also.
And then I assume that all moved in to your edit as well, when you came to that side of it.
Yeah, we actually lost a couple of scenes, because we also had a whole line with her best friend. But we throw it away, because in the edit, I really wanted to focus on Ruby and her experience with period poverty, and I wanted to get the feeling that the people who watch the film really experience the period poverty. And so all the other things were just too much. We're just not focusing on this problem. So we just threw it all out, who was also a really hard thing to do. But, and also like all the, maybe you noticed, like because I don't like to cut, so I don't have a lot of shots on other people.
Okay, yeah.
So also in the food bank, we had
So
like
still
this.
kind of fixed gaze on Ruby.
Yeah. So also in the food bank, we had some shots on other people, but I just tried to decide to throw it all away because it's not important for the story. Like, to hear their voice and to know that they are around, it's important. But we don't have to see their faces because it's not important for me for her problem or for her world.
Yeah.
So yeah, we made those choices also in the edit. And also I really like to make hard cuts, not to make it so soft and to make it like a scene on a scene on a scene. Yeah.
No,
so
it's good. It adds to the raw emotion in the film. It really does. Well, how does it feel now? So you released the film last year, and now did I read, September 21?
yeah, it was released on the Dutch Film Festival.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's
now
long ago,
obviously
yeah.
you've got the amazing news about Oscar qualifying. So it's
Yeah.
built up this new momentum. How is that for you as a director?
That's still crazy. So yeah, it was 1 year ago that we were releasing the film. Then in February we were selected for the Berlinale. I don't know if you know, but we also won the Crystal Bear there.
Yeah,
for
I
best
saw
short
that.
film. Yeah, and then in Cannes I won a Young Director Award also with the film, and then we won the Regard Grand Prix. So then we were Oscar qualifying, and I think it has two things, because of course I'm very happy as a director that I get the chance to show my film to the jury of the Oscars. So I think that's amazing. And also for my career, it can be a great start. And it has been a great start. But I think the second part is also for the awareness of the period poverty. Because when we get this film to the Oscars, I think we can really make a change. And of course, I'm not an activist, but I really want to create it different with this film. And that's why we all made this film.
Yeah.
Because here in Holland, it's still 21% tax because it's seen as a luxury project. So that's fucking crazy.
Good. Every time I go to the buy them, I'm like, why? Why am I paying so much money for this?
Yeah.
It makes me so
crazy.
angry.
Yeah. And we try to get in touch with the government here, but the government here is saying like, yeah, it's a thing from your own state. Like it's not a land like a country thing. So I think, or I hope that this film will also really make a change in the end. And also I think in America, but also in the UK, it's still very big problem.
Absolutely. It's ridiculous. No, every time I get angry about it, and all my friends, we all talk about it and have done for 20 years.
Yeah. And I think it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse.
Prices are only going up.
Exactly. And now like normal people, like middle class, can't even pay their energy bills anymore. So imagine if you have 3 daughters and you have to pay their school trips, or you have to pay like washing stuff or like whatever, like where is it going to? So I hope this film will be, I don't know, will make a change there. Yeah. And it's seen by many people.
And like you said, start a serious conversation about these things.
Exactly. And I think it was so weird because when I started to create the film, I did like this interview on the street. So I went with the camera, we went on the street and we asked to people like, do you know what period poverty is? And in Dutch, it's menstruatiearmoede. So it's menstruation poverty. And a lot of people, like even men, but also women, were saying like, is that you don't have enough space for blood, or that you don't have enough blood with your periods? So people just didn't know that it was
physical.
Yeah. And I think now a lot of people got more, because there are a lot of articles about it. Because how is it in the UK now, actually? Is it
in England? It's the same. You have to pay for it. Scotland have now made it free, but no, in England it's terrible because we're kind of the same. We're split. There's differences in Scotland and Northern Ireland and Wales and things, but no, England is still very backwards. We're probably the same as the Netherlands.
Crazy, right?
I know it is. It's awful.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I already think that we created this crazy awareness because I thought that men didn't even want to go to the film, and I think the jury of the Young Director Award in Cannes were mostly men. and they all vote for the film. So I think that's already a very big difference and a very big change that we are making. So yeah, now we have to go for the Oscars. But yeah,
Good. No,
fingers
I'm
crossed.
excited for you. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Yeah.
So what are you working on next? So you said you've already got a film that's been made. Is that in post-production now?
Yeah, so it's in edits.
Okay.
So we have one more week, and it's a
Yeah.
film about, it's actually not a really big society theme, because I 3 years ago I won a money prize for my graduation film from the Dutch Film Fund. It's like a wild card, so I had like a 60,000 euros I got, and I could just create anything that I like. So I just went on a road trip with a mother and a daughter to France. And it's about two women who can't be together anymore because the daughter is going to do a language course in France, but the mother is very sticky and can't really let her go because it's her only child. So it's about letting each other go, and sometimes that's a pity and that's hard. But but that's more like a personal project, but it's also very small, and it's also about one girl we follow. And I'm working on a feature now, and that's about a girl who experienced the alcoholism of her mother. And it's about the loyalty from children to parents, and how you cope with them. I'm still in research right now, and it's very interesting. I'm part of a group here, and I follow 8 children in their process with their parents who are having an addiction. So it's amazing to be so close, and I think that's a very good and important research for me to get that close to the people who really experienced alcoholism. And I started to create this film because 2 of my best friends were grown up with parents with alcoholism, and one of them was the best friend of my mom. So and in Holland there are 600,000 people or children who are growing up with parents with addictions. So that's a very interesting topic, and I can't wait to create this film.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're going to do big things, because you're
I hope so.
you're so impressive.
Thank you.
No, I really look forward to following your career.
Thank you so much.